Hi, I'm Jim and this is Jim's Fix-It Shop, and today I'm going to hook up a photo cell on the outside of my lean-to. I got some landscaping lights and I got a motion light, and they're all hooked to a timer. And this time of year you're constantly, or just about any time of the year, you're constantly changing the timer so the lights come on and go off when you want them to. So we're gonna try a photo cell. Now there's different kinds. This one I picked up first. It's more of a surface mount. Well, they both are really, but this, I mean a vertical mount, so it's looking out into your yard. Well, I don't want to mount it there. I want to mount it on the bottom of my soffit looking out into the yard. So I bought this one. And believe it or not, this one is 50 cents cheaper than this one is. You don't get a plate with this one. I guess it's hard for them little guys to take the plates off and repackage these. I don't know. So this is what we're going to use. There's not much to it. You got a black wire, you got a red wire, and you got a white wire. Of course, the white is neutral, the black is hot, the red goes to whatever you're trying to turn off and on. Now, check with your local building codes before you do something like this. I'm just going to use, this is going to be a temporary experiment. So I'm going to use an extension cord to hook this up with. This is an old cord, I don't even know where it came from. And we're going to cut this bugger in half, or somewhere close. And got my electrical bag out here. I usually carry on me at work. Now we're going to strip these back. Let me tip you down. I found the best way to strip these wires is and you want a sharp knife. Just lay the knife on the wire with the wire on the bench and push the knife and rotate the wire at the same time. And then just bend it. Comes right off. Then you want to get rid of all this insulation stuff in here. Now before you do something like this, you probably want to check your local electrical codes. You don't want to do something and get in trouble and burn down your house or your garage, and then they'll say, well, you hooked that up wrong, you should have known better. Hey, it's pretty simple to hook these up. Okay, we're going to cut that one off. Then you just bend it back and forth, and you can see it splits right open, especially these cheap cords. And you want to pop these out. We'll get rid of this stuff. And we're going to put this in a box. Now this is a remodeling box. You use these when you add switches or outlets in your house. You cut a hole in your wall, you slip this in, and when you turn these screws, this little finger pops up. And as you tighten the screw, this draws forward and pinches the front flanges, and this little finger pinches whatever surface you have it through, and it holds it in place. Now, hanging on the bottom of my soffits, with this thing hanging on it, it's not going to have to be real solid. Now the plate I just bought a blank plate. Now whenever you drill these, I use one of these. This is a little step drill, and these are made for sheet metal, thin material. If you tried to drill that out with a twist drill, you would shatter this thing. It would grab and spin it on a drill press and probably beat your hand to death before you could get away from it. These things work great. You just keep drilling in until you get to the size you want, and you can check that. And if it doesn't go in the way you want, you just put it back on the drill press and pop up to the next step. So we're going to mount this thing. Now it has a rubber seal on it, and again, it's going to be underneath my soffits. So not going to have too much trouble with water getting on this thing. Let's see, we want it like this. Well, I'm going to have to turn it after I get it screwed up there, because I don't want to be in the way of my holes. And we will stick this cord in the box. These are always fun to get in here. I like the old boxes that actually had a clamp. They're little spring fingers, and you got to try and push them down to get the wire in without pushing them too far so they don't come back and grip the wire. That's what we want it to look like. Just stick it in there a ways. Now we'll try this one. They are stiff, I'll say that. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to do here. Just trying to get that wire stuffed in there. This works a lot better with Romex because it's stiff enough you can just cram the wire in there and it pushes a little door open for you. Now we want a pair of wire strippers. Yep, I've been working over to my in-laws, and my wire strippers are over there, so I'm going to have to run over to the box and get some. And while I'm over there, I'll grab some wire nuts because I forgot them too. Okay, I got some. I'm actually not going to use wire nuts. I'm going to use what they call a butt splice connector. You have red ones, I have blue ones and yellow ones. Each color is a different size wire, and I believe I'll probably be able to get away with the blue ones. Let's strip the ends of these wires off. These pliers are labeled for the size of wire you're using, so use the appropriate hole on these pliers, or you'll either do one of two things. You will cut all the little copper wires off, or it won't strip the wire at all. You'll be pulling and pulling, and the insulation won't come off. This is what I'm doing. I'm stripping the insulation back so I can get to the wire. And you don't have to strip it back very far because the wire doesn't go in these little connectors much more than about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we got these stripped off. Now I basically put this together because I'll stick the two ends, the male end and the female end of the extension cord, through the hole once I get it cut, and I'll shove the whole thing up in and tighten the screws up to lock it in place, and then I'll put the two screws through here into the cover and we'll be done. We have to strip this red wire. I don't know why they don't ever strip the wire that goes to whatever you're trying to control. I don't know. I guess they probably figure you can't figure that out. Now this is what my items are going to be plugged into. So I want to follow that wire up, and that's this one. So this black wire, I'm pretty sure these blue ones are gonna, oh yeah. I don't like that one. This is the one I want. And we're gonna crush this on here. Now we'll move over to the other end. I'm gonna twist all these little wires together. And we want to put the red one in here, going to the female end of my extension cord. Then this black one will hook to the male end of my extension cord. And we will try this before I get it out there and actually mount it into my soffit and find out something ain't working right. Because I've had these things that I bought before where they just don't work. Okay, now all the white ones go together in one connector. And I'm gonna have to use a yellow one on that because we're gonna put two, shove these through a little farther. We're going to put two white ones in one end and one white one in the other end of my connector. That way I don't need to mess around with the wire nuts. This works so much faster and I don't have to worry about them coming off. Now again, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, you probably shouldn't do it. I am not a licensed electrician per se. I am what I would call myself an industrial electrician. I do all the wiring at the shop, single phase, which is this, and three-phase wiring, which is 480 volts. This is 120 volts, and I also work on the 240 volts wiring. Now we want to put the green wires back together. So if you don't feel like you really know what you're doing, either get a friend that does or please hire an electrician. And depending on where you live, well, wherever you live, especially in the US, to add something like this, you're supposed to buy a permit. So then the inspector knows you've done it and he can come in and inspect it before you turn it on. And of course, I bought a permit. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's only fair. Give the township a little money. I'm going to pull these wires back out so I don't have so much stuffed in here. If I can get them back out. They sure don't want to come out. There we go. You got to try to bend up them little fingers. There. And that's done. All the wires are in there. Now we'll go out and knocking my little connectors all over the place. Now we'll go out and trace this onto the bottom of my soffit, and I'm going to cut this out with a Dremel tool and a little cutoff wheel. And of course it's been snowing here, it's warming up, I'm going to get dripped on. We're going to end up pretty wet, I think. So let's go out and cut the hole. You got to get the right screwdriver here. None of these really want to work very well. We'll get that started a little bit. I'm sure not going to need it for that thick of a material. Uh-oh. I got a viewer and need some help. Okay, I'll be back. Gotta help this guy out. Alright, I'm gonna cut this with a little Dremel tool. This thing it's an old Craftsman I bought probably 45 years ago. It's really held up quite well, but again, it's something you don't use all the time. Now I'm going to try not to get any of this stuff dripping down my neck. So we're going to cut this slot. I've already got the line drawn on. Well, we ripped that one loose. So I'm going to have to run in and get another cutoff wheel. It ripped a little metal center out of it. I'll be right back. Okay, we got a new wheel in there. I got the two sides done before the wheel broke. Now we'll try to do each end. Okay, now let me get rid of this. Now we'll try to get these wires back up in there. Might have to go inside and pull them through. There. Now we just got to tighten up them screws. Draw that down. Sure wish I would have done this 3 or 4 weeks ago when it was like 70 degrees and sunny. Now I got my cover screws. Make sure you get all the wires up in there. You don't want to pinch one. If they could have made them screws a little bit longer. Like, come on. Yeah, we'll kind of aim it out in the yard somewhere. And what did I forget to do? Well, I'll be the first one that gets a hold of me and tells me what I forgot to do, and I'll send you something. Let's go inside and pull the wires through. Yeah, they should be right up here. Plug that end in. And this end I got to plug in over there. So I'll be right back. Okay, let me spin you around here. Now, these are the landscaping lights, and this light up here is the motion light. I'm going to go over and put this piece of tape over top the photo cell, and let's see if them come on. Well, that sure took long enough, but they did come on. It must be it's not a very fast acting photo cell. Now I'm going to pull the tape off. And we'll see how long it takes them to shut off. But that's it. Seemed to be a pretty simple process. Let me grab the tools and go inside. Well, back in here where it's warm. I'm up here in Michigan, and right now it's like 32 degrees out maybe. Kind of cold. Everything that we got overnight and this morning is melting and dripping. What's the temperature outside? Wow, we're up to a whole 36. That's why everything's dripping so bad. But that's all it is to hook up a photo cell. Very simple. I don't remember. I got these at Menards, this one and the one that I used. And it seemed like they were around $5. They're pretty cheap. This one was $5.50. No. This one was 50 cents more. Go figure. The plate that I bought was $1, so figure that out. And this has a metal stainless plate on it, and it's cheaper than that one was. But you can also, it has a, if you look close, you can see a ring on there that unscrews. So you could actually take the photo cell body and drill a hole, just drill a hole through your soffit or through the side of your building and insert this through the hole and screw the nut back on, and you don't have to deal with the rest of it. But the connections on the inside should be in a box. And that's about it, except for cleaning up my mess. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long. Hi guys, I'm Jim, and I just thought I'd pop in at the end of this video to let you know that PhotoCell works great. No more messing with the timer for the time change. We still do that up here. Or when the days start getting shorter or longer, I always had to keep changing that timer. What a joy. I should have done this years ago. And I've already wired it into the system that's in the walls, the outlets, so that cord, it's not a temporary situation anymore. It really works nice. So until next time, work safe, have fun, and I'll talk to you soon. So long.